Hi, welcome to UU Wellspring 2023 info session for congregations who are considering bringing UU Wellspring to your community. I am the Executive Director of UU Wellspring, and I lead sessions the second Tuesday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern, so 4 Central, 3 Mountain Time, and 2 Pacific Time. And if you can't make one of those, I'm hoping that this video will help you know what's going on in UU Wellspring and help you decide how you might bring and what parts of it you might bring to your community. So UU Wellspring started in Rochester with the Reverend Jen Crow, who was asking this question: what will you do with this one wild and precious life, from a poem by Mary Oliver? And this question has led to many programs, starting with our Sources program, which I'll be telling you about in a moment. But these have been programs that have been offered in UU congregations throughout the country, and to seminarians and various groups online. And we hope that you will become one of the congregations who's a UU Wellspring congregation. The organizational structure of our program and organization is that we are a UUA affiliated organization, but we're not the UUA, so there is a difference there. We have our own board of directors, me as the executive director, and we have a few subcontractors to help us provide programming and organizational support. So we just feel this is important for you to know, that we are providing materials and programs that the UUA does not provide, but supports. UU Wellspring Board of Directors is a fantastic group of people. It includes ministers, lay people, religious educators, music directors. We like to have a nice wide variety of people to bring lots of ideas in, and these are all people who are passionate about UU Wellspring. We are dedicated to anti-oppression, and we have adopted the 8th principle, and we're working to make sure that our programs are in line with the 8th principle and the Article 2 principles. What you'll find with UU Wellspring is it really supports deep listening, also spiritual reflection, which is inspiring personal and community transformation. And what that really means is that people become more aware of who they are as UUs, and they look at the world with a UU lens, and they start getting more involved because they know who they are as Unitarian Universalists. There's a sense of personal purpose and meaning that arises from spending a year in UU Wellspring. And we think that that's based on the spiritual practices, companionship, readings, and the heart-opening sessions. We also find a sustaining joy emerges, especially from the practice of spiritual practices, and a deep commitment to making change, both in ourselves and in our world. Now, UU Wellspring Group has about 8 to 12 participants, usually around 10 is average. And the participants read, view, and respond to pre-sessions assignments. And these are focused on spiritual topics and UU theology. The facilitators, it can be 1 or 2, are either lay leaders or religious professionals, and we provide clear, complete, and easy to access and use materials, and we give you training for that. There are 5 spokes that we feel lead to the transformation that UU Wellspring programs bring. The first is small group connections. These are deep connections in UU Wellspring. They go beyond the coffee hour sort of hello and go more into really talking about what's most meaningful to us. There are daily spiritual practices that we help you both choose and support you in doing them. Some people find one and they do it for the year. Others try different things on and share with the group how it's going. Spiritual companionship is an important part of the program, and there are various options of how to go about that, from a paid professional spiritual director that you meet outside of the group to a spiritual friend who will provide some holy listening for you. The program offers a deeper knowledge of UU history and theology in a very non-threatening way. There's no memorization. It's more just how are you responding to the materials that you're being presented with. And then, of course, putting UU faith into action. At the end of each session, we ask how we're going to take what we've learned or experienced or explored, and how is that going to affect our beliefs and our actions. Each session has 1 to 2 facilitators, meets for 10 months, twice a month for most programs. There are some shorter programs, UU Wellspring Reads, and those are 3 months, twice a month. Or you could do them every session. They're 6 sessions long. You could do them every week if you wanted to. A session looks like this. It includes a check-in, but it's a deep check-in. We ask you to share how your spiritual practice is going, how your spiritual companionship is going, and what you're carrying in your heart. And you can choose to respond to any or all of those. We then have a time of meditation, and we can add music to it. We've given you options for that. We actually share our spiritual practices. And then we have a reflection on the readings and the videos. And then we ask a really important question. It's not tongue-in-cheek at all. We ask, so what? And that means, how has all this come together to change how you will be in the world, or to support how you will be in the world? And we end with an affirmation each time. Here's an overview of the program. The first year you take sources, and as we contemplate Article 2, we might have an option for that in the future, but right now it's sources. The next steps, the second year, you might take deep questions, which is about our principles, faithful actions, which is about our social justice work and racial justice work. Spiritual practices is another option for that next step, that second year. We also have a seeker series, so there's ways for your congregation, your community to continue to grow. The seeker series asks a little more of the participants. For sacred arts, we ask you to go out and find art in the various categories that we're presenting. It might be visual arts or music. We might encourage you to attend a concert or watch some music online. There's lots of different categories, and you can do it all from Zoom if needed, or you can go out into the world, whatever is best for you. Same thing for spiritual ancestors. We ask you to look into who has been important in your life. Maybe there are Unitarian Universalists who have truly touched you and given you direction. There might be people in your own family who've done the same, and there might be people out in the world that you've never met but have really maybe they're authors or scientists or philosophers who have impacted your life. Then we have some shorter programs. First, for youth and young adult, we have sources and spiritual practices, which is one, and faithful play, which is a second one. Then we have UU Wellspring Reads, which is a series of 6 sessions. The first one is Sacred Earth, which is based on Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. We also have Crises of Life, Faithful Play, and Article 2 review in various forms of production, and we'll let you know when those are available. Hopefully some of them will be available this spring. Sources is our first program, and the one that we ask everyone to take first before any of the other year-long programs, because we build into it an opportunity to learn how to listen deeply, to understand what a spiritual companion can be for you, and to really learn how to be in a group where we are listening deeply to one another. The next 3, and you can take these in any order, are Deep Questions, Faithful Actions, and Spiritual Practices, which I mentioned before. And then the Seeker series. And I offer these memes because we offer things like this to all the facilitators and congregations, so that if you want to advertise or encourage, recruit people for the groups, we give you some interesting things to put on your Facebook page or in your newsletter, so you can use any of these. The youth and young adult program, the first one we have available is Sources and Spiritual Practices. It is 8 sessions long. We're going to move to 6 sessions. We find that that might be a little more helpful for groups, especially if we have multiple. And so we have a new one, Faithful Play, hopefully out in March of 2023, but certainly by the summer. And UU Wellspring Reads, I've mentioned that. We have 3 of those. And the retreat. So the first year program, Sources, does have a retreat. It is 2.5 hours online, and we send out pre-retreat videos and links, and we ask people to respond to them. so that when they come to the retreat, they have already started to do the work of spiritual deepening. If you choose to meet in person, you can do the 2.5 hour retreat, or you could do the 4 hour retreat if you want to also include time for people to gather and be together. During the 4 hour retreat, we don't send as many links to do beforehand. So that's another difference, is if you want to do most of the work together, then I would choose the 4 hour retreat. UU Wellspring provides the retreat if you don't have anyone in your congregation who's taken UU Wellspring, or if perhaps you just want us to lead it. Many congregations find that having someone from the outside come in to lead is a helpful way for their group to begin and allows for all questions to be answered. To get started, we give you a training session in the summer, but basically you'd go to this facilitator login on our website. It's up in the right-hand corner, and then we give you a password. You log in, and all of the information is there, from the email that you would send out to everyone that has all the links and the directions and reflection questions. And then it also has a step-by-step guide to facilitating the session. So fees are annual. So the first size is if you have 300 members or less, then it's $300 for the year. If you have 301 to 600 members, it's $600 a year, and over 600 is $900 a year. We know that larger congregations are often having multiple sources groups, and your membership does include sources. Now, if you're finding that your budget isn't going to allow for this, you might find that you charge $50 per participant to offset the annual membership fee, or just have a donation, but that would go to you as a congregation, and just the congregation would pay UU Wellspring. If you need UU Wellspring to lead your retreat, that's an additional $250. I would say after you do that the first time, I'm going to guess that you're going to have someone in your congregation who feels comfortable facilitating that. But as I said before, we're always willing to come in and do it again, but we do charge $250. Now, if you choose to do some additional programs, you would purchase the membership year, then the additional $200 per year. So the advanced programs, you can't buy those one-off. It's after you buy your subscription, then you can do the $200. However, the shorter programs, you can buy those just one program at a time, even if you're not doing membership or sources. So there's really two different, one side is membership, and then you have access to the longer programs. If you choose not to be a member, but you want to do some of the shorter programs, that's just fine too. Choose what works for your program. We have some resources for facilitators, and we ask each of the facilitators to register online. And then we have a summer session, and I also record that. So, but if you come to the session, then you can ask your questions as well. We provide new passwords in July, and there's a quarterly facilitator chat that's optional, but very, very helpful, especially if it's your first year and you have some questions that you'd like to ask, or kind of be in a learning community together with other facilitators. You can always email me at director@uuwellspring.org. So as you listen to this short presentation, if there's something you need to help you get started, just give me an email and we'll set up a time to talk, or I can answer your questions by email. And once you're ready, if you don't have questions, just go ahead and go to our links for enrollment. You can enroll online your congregation and the additional programs and the retreat, or you can sign up for some of our individual programs. We have a few starting in January, and we'll have a few more starting in September. And so the enrollment login is now how you sign in for any of our programs, and you can see how payment is made through that site. So I hope to hear from you. Happy to answer any of your questions. I know that I've been with UU Wellspring for 5 years, and before that I was in programs, and I still lead programs in my congregation. And I just know that for me, it's been such an anchor in my life and has really certainly helped me through the pandemic. And I hope that as your community is coming together again, you might choose to offer UU Wellspring in person or online, or even as a multi-platform program. I look forward to hearing from you.